Good afternoon. Thank y'all for joining me after school. I just wanted to dive in before we dive into our agenda. I'd like to thank my team leads who are joining us today from the 5th grade. Their leadership, dedication, and expertise play a vital role in driving our projects forward and fostering a collaborative environment. We are grateful to have you all here, and we look forward to your valuable insights and contributions in today's discussion. Let's work together to make this meeting productive and insightful. So, to start off with, we are going to delve into how we can build connections within our school community to achieve our mission statement, which is up here on the board. This is our district's mission statement. The mission of Muleshoe ISD is to graduate lifelong learners and productive citizens by providing an instructional program and educational environment that develops the skills, attitudes, and ethics necessary to meet the needs of a changing society. The district's vision statement is now on the board. Muleshoe ISD graduates positive, ethical, and productive citizens who are also lifelong learners. Okay, keep in mind, I really want you to focus on these green words: positive, ethical, and productive. I know this is more geared towards our high school students and junior high, maybe mostly towards high school because it says graduates, but we can still make our students positive here at DeShazo. We can still ensure that they are being productive and that they are getting the good, what word am I looking for? Ethics, okay? I don't know. Okay, so at DeShazo Elementary, we will work together to inspire critical thinkers who enjoy learning. We still want to engage them. We want it to be a safe environment, which our district has been working on by providing us a fence around our campus to ensure that our students are safe out during recess and to just kind of give us safety from them coming into our exterior doors as well. So we also want to promote student growth, which we are also doing. But I want to go back to this mission statement: attitudes and ethics necessary to meet the needs of a changing society. Changing society is our district's mission, on our district's mission statement. How can we continue to strive to meet our mission statement if it is just ending with promoting student growth?
While promoting student growth is mentioned, I think we should consider adding a phrase that hints at the ongoing commitment to improve teaching practices, the curriculum, and our support systems to facilitate that growth.
I like that. So let's think, because we're getting towards the end of the year, and I like to just have my stuff ready for next year to present to our superintendent and to the school board. So let's talk about a phrase that maybe we can come together in a staff meeting and already have an idea. And if we can get our staff all staff at DeShazo to agree with it, then I will send it to Dr. Richards to present to the school board. So I'm going to give y'all about 4 or 5 minutes if y'all want to collaborate and just work together on how we can add a phrase or a new sentence to our mission statement to ensure that we are promoting student growth in a changing society. I'm going to give y'all 4 minutes if y'all want to go ahead and talk.
Okay, well, I like what she said, that it's important to promote student growth, but what are some ideas that we can come up with to maybe see how the students understand the importance to growth?
I think we need to throw in something about like continuously enhancing those methods.
The teaching methods, especially like really reinforcing the incentives and like really our curriculum and really celebrating our growth within our students, and making like goal settings for them to just really encourage that that idea that we need to continuously grow.
So we could not replace that promoting student growth with like something about like continuously
enhancing teaching methods, maybe curriculum development, and maybe
Throw in some structures.
some,
supports
yeah,
and-
some structured supports to encourage, and help student growth,
I think that sounds good.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Are y'all ready? Yeah,
We're ready. Okay, so what did we come up with? I'm gonna go ahead and write it down, so I can make sure and type it up later to send.
I think that we should just continue enhancing teaching methods.
Enhancing teaching methods.
Yes, ma'am. Curriculum development.
Enhancing teaching methods, curriculum development. So are we okay with our curriculum?
I think it has its strengths and weaknesses, and I think it would behoove us to find maybe some additional, maybe curriculum or programs that we could find to like fill in the gaps that our curriculum is weak in.
Okay,
To reinforce it in those
Yeah.
areas.
okay. So enhancing teaching methods, curriculum development.
And maybe support structures to help student growth. By doing that, we could really like reinforce like celebrating those growths and encouragement, just so that they, those areas are really reinforced within themselves, not only like academically, socially, emotionally. Those
I like
areas
that.
are really areas I feel we could all benefit from in 5th grade.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I have everything. Enhancing teaching methods, curriculum development, and support structures. Is that it?
I think she mentioned something about encouraging and helping up the student.
So we want to
Student
add
growth.
that in? Okay.
Yes.
And encouraging, encouraging students enhancing teaching methods, curriculum development, and support structures, and encouraging students' growth. Okay, thank you. I will type that up and send it. I really like it. It looks good. So, I will be submitting this to our school board. Well, first our superintendent as a change we would like to make if our staff agrees on it when we meet again. Okay, this edition reinforces the idea that school is dedicated not only to current student growth, but we are focusing more on like curriculum and teaching methods. Our teachers need to make sure that they are changing as our society is changing as well and evolving. I think overall, like you said, this is going to improve the educational experience not only for our students, but for our teachers as well. And it's going to give our students the support they need in their journey with the educators who are also growing with them. Okay, so with that, our district has set some goals for us as a district. I know we're kind of on the elementary level, but the goal I want to focus on, since we're getting closer to our state assessments, is MISD will increase the percentage of students scoring at the MEETS level to 50% for cohort groups that were at or above 50% on the 2023 STAR. MISD will increase the number of students scoring at the MEETS level by 10%. To help our elementary level students meet this goal and to increase their percentage of students scoring at the MEETS level on the STAR exam, DeShazo's already implementing some things. We have after school tutorials, but we can really do we can focus more on data-driven instruction. And in order to do that, I printed out last year's STAR data for reading, math, and science, which are my team leads. And y'all were supposed to have cut it up from highest teak to lowest teak, and really analyze that student performance from the previous exams that you've been taking throughout the year, such as common assessments, map data, and really identify specific areas of strengths and weaknesses, and use this data to help tailor instruction in the classroom to meet the needs of individual students and groups. Okay, our whole campus needs to be on board in doing those things. We've got to ensure all teachers are really digging into their data and ensuring that those kids are getting what they need and what they're working on. Okay, so to start off with, I want you all to look at your data from last year's STAR and focus on the TEKs that need to be the most improved, or that needs the most improvement, I'm sorry. And so you all have your V charts.
Yes.
Okay, so looking at your lowest TEK and the lead forwards frequency distribution chart, which I know you have all seen, I would like for you to see how many times your lowest TEK had been tested. And I'm going to just go through the distribution chart really quick to make sure you understand it. Readiness is the green. So readiness standards are the green, and those are the ones that are probably tested the most. They're the most focused that we need to put our focus towards. And then yellow are the supporting standards, and they are there to support those readiness standards. So if your lowest TEK is a supporting standard, I need you to be thinking, is that a TEK that you need to be focusing on as a teacher if it's only being tested 2 times compared to our readiness standards that are being tested maybe 11 times. So I'm going to have you look at your data. I'm going to pass out your distribution charts, and I want you to come up with your lowest TEK and how many times it was tested. I'm going to give y'all about 2 minutes. If y'all get ready before then, just let me know. Okay, I'm going to start with Miss Morales. Miss Morales, what is your lowest TEK on your V chart in 5th grade reading and or ELAR? And is it a readiness standard or is it a supporting standard?
My lowest standard is 5.9 triple I. It is text structure, and it is a supporting standard.
Supporting standard. And how many times was it tested?
4 times
4 times.
in the last 4 years.
Okay, so is that a TEK that you need to be focusing on with your kiddos?
I think it is something I want to touch on just because it is a constantly tested every year at least once, but I don't think I will spend the majority of my time on it.
Okay. So what is a TEK you would spend the majority of your time on?
I will go with 5.6F. it is my fifth lowest, but it is tested 10 times and it is a readiness standard.
A readiness standard. I love it. And what did you say the TEAC was again?
5.6F, that would be inferencing.
Very good. Okay. I love that you are digging into that data and really trying to help our kids do what's best for them to prepare them for the STAR. Miss Segura, what is your lowest TEAC?
5.2C, round decimals to mean tenths or hundredths, and it is a supporting standard. It's not one that I would spend too much time on, and definitely, like Ms. Morales said, something that I would reinforce, such as bringing in strategies, fourth grade, third grade, where they're bringing in those vertical number lines to round, but definitely not a lot of time to spend on that one.
Is it, and also, I know we're getting ready for STAR review,
Correct.
so that's when you'll really be doing more of your cycling through the TEACs, but have y'all cycled through that TEAC throughout the year, or is it?
I believe it's spiraled in module 1, or brought in during module 1. However, it's not something that is spiraled in throughout the rest of the modules. It's something that I may bring in second semester just so that they can reinforce it, since it's taught in first semester as opposed to second semester.
And I know you have a first year teacher working with you. Are y'all looking at the V charts together when you are preparing for the STAR training that we're about to really hit, our 10-day STAR training? I know reading is first, but math is about to come up. But is it something you and your team partner have been talking about?
Yes, especially with those, what I'm seeing really in the TEAC, I believe it is 5.5A. That's something that was like a low readiness standard that I see there. And just like I mentioned to my partner, we want to make sure that we are scoring at least 10% higher than we did previous year on that TEAC. So I'm really reinforcing that V chart and like comparing data from last year to how we're going to perform this year and what TEACs we need to really reinforce in those readiness standards each time we're testing.
Okay, I like it. And then Miss Kaufman, I know you teach science, what is your lowest TEAC?
My lowest TEAC is 5.8A, which we scored a 12.6% on. But I noticed that it's a supporting standard. It's only tested once, so that's really something I'm going to touch on, but I'm not going to spend the majority of my time on it. So I went ahead and looked at my second lowest TEAC, which was 5.5A, which is about the states of matter, and that is a readiness TEAC, and it is tested 17 times in the last few years. So that's definitely something that we are going to be hitting on pretty hard and be cycling on throughout the year.
I like it. So just one more thing since we're kind of on the data driven, I know we want to help all students out, but to meet our goal and ensure that we get those students to meets, so MISD will increase the percentage of students scoring at the meets level. That is our goal as a district. What kids are we going to be working with? I know we don't want to leave we want to help all kids, but what kids do we really need to focus on to ensure that we are meeting our goal of getting to rising that meets level by at least 10%?
Our bubble kids.
Okay, and how are you figuring out who your bubble kids are?
I think those students that are on the borderline of approaches or borderline of meets that just need a little extra push.
Okay, so are you at what data are you looking at?
I am considering our common assessment data, our map data, and our benchmark data.
Okay, so I really like that you're analyzing all student performance data. I'm sure Ms. Segura and Ms. Kaufman are doing the exact same thing, and you're focusing, as you're analyzing those common assessments and map data, are you looking at specific areas of strengths and weaknesses? What are you doing in your classrooms?
We want to assist our students in achieving our objective of raising that percentage of students scoring at the meets level on the STAR exam. So we're initiating a proactive approach. Our students are now actively engaged in graphing their performance data from all major common assessments and math tests. Through this process, they're going to gain a clear understanding of their strengths and areas needing improvement. We hope that additionally students are going to be empowered to enhance their skills by selecting activities targeted to their lowest performing TEKs from a curated choice board. That's going to be very personalized to approach. It's a personalized approach to ensure that they continue growing, and it's going to foster a sense of ownership in their journey, in their learning journey.
I really like that. We need to give our kids more ownership to their work and their scores. So, do you have that with you, Miss Morales?
I do. I brought an example of one of my students.
Can I see it, please?
Yes,
I would
ma'am.
like to show. Maybe this is something we could incorporate with all of our teachers. I do know a lot of teachers are already graphing data, but if we could really break it down, do you mind if I show the other teachers this student?
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is she one of your high, medium, or low students? It kind of looks like overall she probably is a mastery student, right?
Yes, she is one of my top students.
Okay, so it seems like she was kind of struggling at the, not really struggling, but she wasn't mastery at the beginning of the year.
No.
And she definitely has got back up there. So are you also, explain this a little bit more to me?
So those are her lowest performing TEKs by assessment. They go by our all the way from the beginning of the year until the most common one, and it's focusing on those standards that she needs to reinforce. So as she graphs it, she knows which standards she struggled on, and that will help her to know which ones she needs to target.
Okay, and then you said you created a choice board, right?
Yes, that is the other document.
So did you, so how did you do this? Did you do all of this, or did you pull her back to graph her data?
Yes, I do it one by one as they are doing centers. I pull one by one and to discuss their performance individually, so that we can look at it one on one, and we graph their data, and then we look at which TEKs were tested and which ones they performed the lowest on.
Okay, and then you just grab the lowest TEKs and put them on a choice board?
Yes.
Okay, and when are you going to use this choice board?
We're going to use it closer to STAR once we get into our STAR prep and our review. They have about a month to complete everything on their choice board, but it gives them freedom to kind of choose which ones they want to get done first, so they feel a little bit more independent.
Okay, I like it. So do you mind presenting this to our CSP reading, on our next CSP day in our reading data meeting? Do you mind presenting this and kind of showing our reading teachers what you are doing in class?
I would love to.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I really think overall incorporating this strategy across not just reading but across math and science classes, it could really benefit our students collectively and contribute to our overall goal of ensuring that we are raising the meets level by 10%. I know Ms. Morales is going to present it next CSP meeting. I'll make sure to put you on the agenda for that. But I would like for math and science to also go back to their teams and talk about it and just see if it's something y'all could incorporate in your classes as well. Okay, collect their thoughts on this, discuss how we can collaborate and implement this more effectively into all classes, and just get back to me with y'all's feedback from your team.
I do have a question. So did, when you were having that, like, conference with her,
Yes.
did you show her, like, specifically, like, questions that, like, would look like that TEK, how it was tested and how it's presented in several different ways? How did you do that?
Yes, we went back and looked at how that specific TEK was asked on the test.
Okay.
That way, I need to clarify that if the issue is a misunderstanding of the question or if it was asked poorly. That way, I can get to the root of the problem if it is a skill that maybe she overlooked or if she's really struggling with the skill.
Okay. I love
Great that. So
I really thank you for clarifying that for me.
No problem.
thank you, Miss Morales. I love that you're doing that. So now let's take a closer look at our data overall as a campus. Okay, we're going to be comparing our Texas Academic Performance Reports to our winter map benchmark data, breaking it down into cohort groups. And this analysis will help us to identify areas of improvement. I know earlier I talked about the overall population mainly being Hispanic. They are the majority here in Millshoe. I've given each of y'all one of these. They're in the middle of your desks if y'all would like to follow along. So, when we got back in January, my reading and math teachers gave the winter map assessments. Okay, so if you can see up here, this is overall. This is 5th grade reading, 5th grade math, and 5th grade science. And I'll have this meeting with each grade level. Right now I'm having it with my 5th grade team. Okay, so it looks like in reading, 40% of our students did not meet on the winter map. And then it approaches was 56%, meets was 20%, and mastery was only 8%. 2023, this is no longer map data, this is STAR. So in 2023, on the STAR assessment, 74% approached, 42% met, and then 20% mastered on last year's STAR. And then I have it broken up into cohort groups. We have 2 Asian students who are doing great. I think one of them got mastery, so if we could really get the other one to master as well. Our Hispanic population, white population, and I'm going to give you all a few minutes to look at this, and our SPED population in reading. So if it is highlighted yellow, that means they did better than last year's STAR. So last year's STAR, we only had 22% approach, and on our map assessment, we had 38% of our SPED population approach. So we've grown there. Math as a whole, Asian, Hispanic, white, SPED. As you can see, our math is doing very well. On the map assessment, we had 73% approach compared to 63. We had 36 compared to 27 in meets, and then 13 compared to 5% of our Hispanic population. So our math teachers are doing a phenomenal job, it looks like. They're doing great. Science, Asian population, I think I forgot to put that in. Sorry, I'll get that. Hispanic population, white population, and our SPED population, once again, is doing good there in science. If you flip it, okay, I've broken it up into pods as well. So this is reading, and this is going to be those 3 teachers' pods. Miss Morales, Miss Kaufman, and Miss Segura's pod, okay? So this is going to be our reading STAR data, okay, from last year. Then we have our fall map and our reading map, and these lines kind of show if they're showing growth or not, okay? And you can also tell by the colors. Reds are they didn't meet standards. Yellow is they are approaching. Green is meets, and blue is mastery. So then this is all of our Hispanic population up here. If you look down here, so 45% did not approach on the STAR last year. In the fall on the map assessment, 50% did not approach. And then in the winter, only 26% did not approach. So our number was dropping, which is really good. We're getting more kids to pass. Okay, approaches is 55% did not, 55% did not approach, 50% did, I'm confusing myself, I'm sorry, approaches. So on the STAR last year, 55% did not approach, on the map in the fall, 50% approached, and then in the winter, 74% approached. So we have a huge growth right there from fall to winter with our reading data. Meets is 26, 26, and 29. So a little bit of growth, and then our mastery from 13 to 16% from fall to winter. So we are getting more kids to approach, but we want to focus on those bubble kids and ensure that they are meeting. Do y'all have any questions about this data? No? Okay, and then same thing, it's just our other pod. So we have our Hispanic population, the STAR, fall map, reading map. Then we have our white population, STAR, fall, winter, and then we have our Asian population. STAR from last year, fall and winter. I'm going to give you all a few minutes to look at this in a little bit. Okay, going into math, I've darkened all of that because that was reading and I didn't know how to get rid of it. But we have our math STAR from last year. Okay, and our Hispanic population is at the top. We have our fall data from MAP and our winter data once again. Same thing, Hispanic population, white population. Same thing on the map, it's just the other pod. And then last, I'm sorry, science, you are important, I promise. We just, science is kind of at the end right here, and it is their last benchmark that they took. And it's the Hispanic population, white population, and then Asian population. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to look at the data, and then I want you to come back with what you notice about the data, okay? And I'll actually probably give y'all 3 minutes. If y'all need more time, y'all can let me know. Do y'all have any questions before y'all look at it? Okay.
No.
This is not for math. So what is that? This access possibilities. If this is 23, this is 22, this year?
That what?
Oh, I was just wondering, what is that, the 56?
So 56% approached on that from
Oh,
this
so-
year.
Oh, this year, okay.
Yes,
And then this is 23, 22.
Yes.
So this would be 2024.
The winter map
Yes.
is 2024. Yes.
Yes, that. Thank you.
I see we've grown for reading from last year's winter map. So this,
My math just dropped. The
Yeah.
last one, 20% is 8%.
yeah.
So maybe we need to compare what skills they were struggling on versus the V chart and see if we can make a correlation there.
Yes.
I'm noticing that there's been a steady drop in all 3 subjects in 2022.
I do
I think
agree.
2022 was a stronger year across the board.
I agree. Definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of bring y'all in back to up here. What are some things y'all have noticed? I heard good conversation. Any ideas that y'all want to like talk about?
Okay, well, after kind of digging into some of this, with my quick math skills, there seems to be a 10% increase from last year's STAR compared to the map in all subjects, especially among our SPED population, which is impressive and incredibly important.
Yes. Yeah, they definitely help towards that accountability rating, and we want to make sure they're getting, and they're doing great this year. We want to make sure they are still getting everything they need, and maybe them being in our classes for 30 minutes and reading, or do y'all have them during math?
Yes,
right?
we
so,
also.
So that is very probably helping them, or if that didn't sound right, that is helping them a lot, I'm sure. Anything else y'all noticed?
I did know something that Ms. Morales mentioned is that map data has like dropped. However, I don't think that's indicative of how well they're gonna perform on STAR. So I see the purpose in like winter map data to help those detailed, skills that they didn't quite meet in previous years. But I also see, like I said, how it's not indicative of like how they're gonna be performing on STAR. It's not like
Yeah, it's not the
it's
actual.
not like a great correlation there.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it is good data to have, but we're also like, go back to your teams, and I know we're getting close to start, but talk about, do you want to give the interim assessment? Do you want to give a benchmark? What are your thoughts on that? And then just get back to me with the feedback, and we'll talk more about that, because I do know some other teachers from other grade levels are mentioning giving the interim assessment to kind of show where their kids are.
Yeah.
Which still, it is a good assessment, but just know it still tailors towards the student's needs. And the test, I think the first 15 questions are the same on it, but then the questions change towards the kids' needs. But it is good to just look at and have that data to see where your kids are. So based on the data, what should we start implementing as a campus to address those areas of concerns if we're noticing dropping even from 2022? Well, right here, I guess they grew in approaches. But if you're noticing in the meets area, which our goal is, a drop from 2022 to 2023, what are some things we can help get back on track?
I think we should address our socioeconomic issues.
Okay. Yeah, and we know we come from a small town where the population is a lot of Hispanics, and a lot of our parents do work, and the kids are home quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, so the Hispanic makes up the majority of our student body and contributes substantially to our data pool. Additionally, we recognize that our community is predominantly low socioeconomic, and we acknowledge the potential impact of these factors overall on our academic performance. I mean, y'all saw in the pod section how many Hispanic students we have compared to our white population. This overall is our data. I mean, we've really got to help those kids. So how can we address the socioeconomic, or even just for one, our parents, we know our students take on a lot of responsibilities at home. And sometimes they're up late taking care of siblings or something because parents are working. How can we address, first off, just attendance being an issue and ensuring our kids are getting here to school?
Well, our pod has met together, and we see that so many of our kids are inspired by their sports. That's all they talk about, and competition in general. So we're wondering if we could have like some attendance challenges or competitions.
Okay. And what type of challenges are you thinking of, Ms. Kaufman?
Okay, well maybe we could either do it between the whole school or between grade levels. We could have a competition between the homeroom classes, and maybe the homeroom that has the highest attendance, maybe they could get some kind of prize or something over maybe one of a period of 6 weeks or so, one grading period.
Okay, because right now we are doing like the small little attendance. They sometimes get like a prize box, toy, or pin if they're here every day for perfect attendance. But yes, I like that, making it kind of a fun competition. Anything else that y'all can think of that we could do?
Maybe doing like a field trip each semester.
Okay.
Something like that. For the kids who got like perfect attendance for each semester.
Okay.
The end of each semester.
So, is it a perfect attendance field trip, or do we want to kind of lower that? So, because you're going to have kids who are going to get sick. You're going to have kids who try to be here, but something happens.
Yeah,
You can't
I
get.
think since our kids are required to be here, 90% of the time, maybe those that have been here for 90% of the time each semester could attend the field trip.
Agreed.
Okay, and do we want to really look at doctor notes as well?
Tardies, yeah.
Doctor
Yeah.
notes, tardies. What, how about discipline?
Yeah, I think
Because-
that would be important. I think it needs to be earned since it's such a big reward.
Okay. So how many doctor notes are we gonna let all kids go if they have doctor notes? Are we okay with all kids going as long as they bring a doctor's note? And then we're gonna have those parents who may just write a note. Are we okay with those kids going if they have a handwritten note?
I think it has to be doctor's note.
I think
Yeah.
we should add, if they do have a doctor's note, they should still be accountable for the work they miss.
Okay, I like that.
Yes.
Making sure they're getting all the work done.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we need to mention something about even grades. Do we want kids to go if you mentioned that it should be something earned? If they're failing, should they still get to go?
No.
No.
No, I think they need to be passing because that shows that they're putting in some effort into their
Yes.
classwork.
Okay. And discipline, right now we do have a discipline log where teachers are giving checks. Where do we want the cutoff to be for this field trip?
I think
6.
4.
4, yeah.
Are y'all,
I think
do I need to add it to, do I need to get all staff input probably?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So I can create a form and we can send it out, but
Yeah.
4 or 6 checks is what we're kind of thinking.
yes.
I think an office referral should also immediately take them out.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
For sure.
But what if they're sent to the office but don't get the official referral?
I think it should count.
I think if they go to the office,
And
I
there's
mean, I'm
documentation.
willing to listen. If a teacher comes in and is willing to fight for their student, I think that's when we bring in the grade level and we talk about it. But just know we can't do it for every student because, well, if you're doing it for one, then you're going to have parents who are going to find out and it's just going to have to be a discussion we're going to have.
Okay.
So I'll write those up and we'll get staff input in a form, a Google form, and see what they say. Okay, so how can we address some of our other issues? I know, like I was saying, we come from a huge Hispanic population. We have a bunch of language barriers. How can we help those students become more involved in their child's education?
I think it would be a great idea to bring back our math and lab tutorials. Our math tutorials being the migrant tutorials, and our lab being more geared towards language tutorials to help with that language and create a plan for other students with the language barrier.
Okay, I really like that because, like we were talking about, many of our students are home alone and our parents work a lot. So, could we offer transportation to get our students there? Is that something we can look at and maybe talk about at district forum with Dr. Richards and our?
Yeah, they used to provide a bus for kids to have transportation if needed.
Yeah.
Yes. Years ago when they used
Yeah, it's been a
implemented these
while.
programs, definitely.
And with the language barrier, a lot of our parents can't help their students on home or at home
Yeah.
with their homework. And we know math is just getting more difficult as the
Yes.
years are coming. So it's hard because it's not even the way a lot of our English parents learned how to do math.
Correct.
If we offer tutorials, we could think of offering a class to parents that would provide them with learning English. Any program ideas that we could begin and bring into our school board or bring to our school board? Do y'all have any ideas that we can bring to our school board to help our parents?
I believe Rosetta Stone would be a great option, paid option. I do Spanish club for our elementary students, and I do Duolingo, and they seem to enjoy that as well.
Okay. So Duolingo, I'm gonna write that.
Rosetta
Wow.
Stone.
And then I'll go back and look at this as well. So to address the area where students seem to be struggling, I will review and identify data from our current MAP tests. And I really think Ms. Morales' data tracker, if we can get that incorporated and really focusing on those TEKs, we can help our kids. But I'm going to look at our data and I'm going to notify all staff on any changes I make to Strive tutorials to ensure that those students are getting the help they need and we're focusing on those bubble students. I'm going to also speak to our tutorial teachers about really focusing on the reading and math star TEKs from our V charts so that they can incorporate more of that during Strive. What do y'all think about that?
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
A great idea.
Okay, also all students will be placed into intervention groups and I really need you to go back to your CSP teams and ensure that your teachers know that they need to be focusing on those bubble students and working on the V chart data that are our readiness standards and the ones that are big hitters that we're going to get the more for our work. Okay, I also kind of wanted to talk about school community involvement, which we will discuss next time. Are y'all okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That'll give us some time to get some ideas with our CSP teams.
But I really would like for y'all to come back with ideas on how we can incorporate and get our kids really involved into our community. And I know Muleville has been on our campus for quite a bit of time, but we've really become complacent. Are we taking full advantage of it? So I need you to go back to your teams and come up with some ideas on how we can improve our Muleville and ensuring that all our kids are getting the
Exposure
full
and experience.
Yes, the full experiences from having that. And it's going to bring in other stakeholders from our community. I mean, we already have the post office, but are we doing everything we can with our post office on our campus? Could we tie in the actual post office in our community? I know our book
It's a
club
good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. I know our book club teachers do a lot with, or work a lot with our librarian, Miss Francis, at the public library. Can we bring more of that into just our teachers? Like, I know right now, I do know our science teacher, Miss Kaufman, and Miss Davis reached out to Miss Francis about the solar eclipse, and you are taking a group of kids over there.
Yes.
So I would like to just ensure our students know more about what our community has to offer. If y'all could go back to your teams and just please bring back any ideas to our next meeting.
Yes, will do.
Thank y'all.